Hodges today. I'm happy to see that there are multiple people joining us this morning, and it is Thursday, so we're coming to the end of our week. So today is going to be a review of what we've been doing with math, with fractions and dividing, and we're going to continue to review on Monday, and then next week we'll be wrapping it up with a one-pager and presenting that. All right, so let's go over what to expect for today. Let me see if I got this right today. All right, so just a reminder that there is a chat box you guys can use as you guys are watching the video, and if you have any questions, I will try to make sure I look there more often today as well. Our objectives for today, we're going to be reviewing how to interpret a fraction as division, but we're also going to be reviewing something else. Let's see if this will work. Dividing a unit fraction by a whole number and dividing a whole number by a fraction. So we're going to be reviewing all of that today and Monday as well. Okay? All right, so let's get started. Good morning, Bella and Emily. Good to see you here this morning. All right, I was starting off on our screen just to make sure that we were doing the right thing this morning. All right, got my screen ready, and I remembered to make sure that my tablet is actually showing today. Yesterday I made that mistake and I forgot to check, so I'm glad that I'm remembering this time. Okay, so we are going to review a bit. Good morning, Michael and Jaden. All right, so we have a problem here that we've done similar problems to, where we're sharing food. Brownies are one of my favorite foods. When I was pregnant, it was one of those things that I could eat all of them all by myself. All right, so we have 3 kids and we have 5 brownies. Well, I can already tell they're going to get more than just one brownie because there's more than there are people, right? So I want to approach this, since it's been a couple of days that we've been practicing this. I want to approach this where we are thinking about it in an equation and a fraction, and then we can check our work with the model, okay? So we have 3 kids and 5 brownies, so I'm thinking of division. So we have how many brownies? 5. So we have 5 brownies, and we're going to divide that by 3 kids. And if I want to write that as a fraction, that means I would have 5 brownies divided by 3 kids. If I said that as a fraction, I would say 5/3, which is more than 1, right? So let's pull out our whole numbers. So we have 3/3. That would make 1 whole. And I have 5/3 to divvy up there, so how many more do I have left? 2. So 3/3 plus 2/3 makes 5/3. And so that means that I have 1 whole and 2/3 of a brownie, if we're going to equally share them. Good morning, Brian. All right, so let's check our work with the model just to make sure that this makes sense. So if I'm going to start dividing these 5 brownies up to these 3 people at the bottom here, then each one would get this 1 brownie, right? And then we have 2 brownies left. What would we do with them? Well, I'm going to go ahead and divide both of them into 3 pieces because there's 3 people, right? And so it's kind of hard with the rectangle or square. I'm going to go like vertically, and then I'm going to do the same thing over here and make that one into thirds. And then each person's going to get a piece from that brownie and a piece from that brownie. And this guy's going to get a piece from that one and this one and this one. So they really get 2 pieces out of 3 when you look at 1. So that makes sense. It matches. So this is something that we've been working on lately, and hopefully it's getting easier for you. Just checking everything. All right. All right, so now let's go ahead and go into the next question to review. Okay, so then in the beginning of the week, we worked on, beginning of the week and a little bit into the last week, we worked on how would we use division with fractions if we're giving a situation. So here's one, and so we're going to be practicing both versions. One where we start with a fraction divided by a whole number, and then the other reversal too. But I'm not going to tell you which is which just yet. So let's go ahead and figure out what the question is, and then we can decide together which strategy are we going to use. So it says, 4 students sitting at a table were given 1/3 of a pan of cornbread to share equally. What fraction of the whole pan of cornbread will each student get if the share whoops, typo, if they share the remaining cornbread equally. So then let's just take a little bit of notes of what we are seeing or noticing in here. So if I'm looking at 4 students, so we've got 4 people, I'm going to put 4 and then like a little guy there. Okay. So I've got 4 students, and I'm looking at what do they get. So they were given altogether 1/3 of a pan of cornbread, which is what the picture is. So they have 1/3 of a pan. Does that mean they have a whole pan? No, it means they have part of a pan, right? I'm realizing that I gotta make sure that I don't run into my face right there, huh? Okay, so then I'm looking at, they're gonna share it equally, but they only have 1/3 of a pan. So let's think about, what are we starting with? What is the food? What is the amount we're starting with? We're starting with 1/3. We're gonna divide it by how many people? Divided by 4 people. And then we're gonna have to figure out what the answer is. Now I'm looking at this, and we've been working on this for a while, so we're starting with a fraction. We're not starting with a bigger number, a whole number, or anything like that. So we're starting with a fraction. So then my answer is going to be a fraction, right? So then if I'm looking at 1/3 divided by 4, the other thing that we learned is looking at this and knowing that 3 times 4 is 12. So I end up with 1/12 of a piece. Okay? I'm going to draw this pan out so I can show you what this means and why it's 1/12. So if here's my rectangle, sort of, here's my rectangle of my pan of brownies, and we made it, we ate some, and now we only have 1/3 left, which is going to be over here. That's my 1/3. And that 1/3, let me switch my colors. I'm going to divide that into 4 people. So that means I'm going to just go like this and divide it into 4. And then I'm looking at how much would one person get. So I'm looking at this one piece. And that is what is supposed to equal to 1/12. So I'm looking at one piece out of a total of 12. Right? I like it. I'm going to save that one. I think it's a good one. Maybe I can put that into our slides. All right. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next problem. Will it let me go? All right. So now this time let's think about what's happening before I start writing everything down. Jose is buying 4 pounds of candy. He wants to give each of his friends 1/5 of a pound. How many friends can receive 1/5 of a pound of candy? So this one is asking how many friends or how many servings are you going to have with this? All right, so let me get my pen ready so we can solve this. So let's write down some notes that we're noticing. So it's Jose, and he's buying 4 pounds. I'm going to abbreviate pounds with LB. That's usually what we do. 4 pounds of candy. And he wants to give everybody 1/5 of a pound. How many friends can receive 1/5 of a pound of candy? So how many people are going to actually get to have some? So let's think about what's happening in this situation. It seems to me that we're starting with a number that is not a fraction. It's a whole number, right? So 4 divided into 1/5 servings. How many servings am I going to have? I'm starting with this whole number, so our answer is going to have a whole number as well. All right, so then looking at what we've learned this week, we know that 4 times 5 is 20. And we're done. So we can have 20 servings of the candy is what happens. Pretty good. If I were to draw this out, I'm going to represent a pound with a rectangle or a square or rectangle like this. So here's my 4 candy pounds. So if I filled each of those bags with a pound of candy, maybe one of those candies in the picture, and I'm going to figure out how many 1/5 serving sizes I have in there. So then I'm going to go ahead and start dividing each of these into 5 because I'm going to need fifths. So I'm going to try real quick. Try to make it kind of equal as best as I can. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So then I look at how many fifths do I have? And I have 20 if I count them all. Okay? All right, so that is review of those 3 things that we've been working on. There's with division with fractions. And so if you need to watch this again to remember how to do it, go for it. If you need that, right? Go for it. Okay. Let me get ourselves situated here. Okay. Wrapping up. Where did it go? Where did it go? Okay. All right, so hopefully that this makes sense. I'm kind of keeping an eye on our comments to make sure we don't have any questions. Goodness, that happens sometimes. Oh, you know what I learned? That if I leave it open, that happens. So let me try to refresh this. See if it comes back. And it's not. You try to erase it and bring it back and see if that helps. No, it's not coming back. Oh well. Okay. So kind of needed to come back to show you our number talk. So let me try one more time. There we go. Okay. All right. So kind of an easy number talk today because I just want you to try this out. I have a picture for you, and basically I just want you to look at the picture for a minute and think about what are some math questions you can make using that picture. So what are some questions that I might ask you about that? That's kind of the challenge for today for your number talk. So looking at all of that you see, and it doesn't have to be only the umbrellas. It could also be anything else in the picture, but the umbrellas are hint already in some rows and columns happening there. There's colors, there's all kinds of things you can do. There's shapes, there's geometry. So what kind of math questions can you make using that one picture? So that's what I'm going to be looking for in your Flipgrid videos today. And just to show you what you're doing for math today, besides your number talk, you're going to go to Flipgrid and explain what math questions you can make using that. And then you're only doing one page of math today for a review, so 374A. So it looks like this. And it's just one page today. Tomorrow you're going to do the back side, which are word problems, but the front is just straight equations with reviews, so the things that we talked about just right now in our video, okay? And as requested, you guys wanted a reading lesson also. So today at 11, I plan to be back on for YouTube Live to do a reading lesson. So that'll should be giving you enough time to get through the math. It shouldn't take you too long, actually, to get through the math. So please do your Flipgrid, do your work, post it for me, and then I'll see you back here at 11. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. Bye.